To what extent will this help in dealing with the harsh economic realities once subsidy is removed? Federal government says it will begin 40% pay rise for workers from the end of this month. The pay rise was supposed to commence since January, so there are outstandings or arrears January, February, and March. And the report is that these arrears will be paid in due time, but for the month, but they will commence payment for the month of April. And the federal government insists or says it's a 40% pay rise for all workers. Well, all federal workers, I imagine, even though a labor leader insists it's not a pay rise, it's just some additional allowance to cushion the effect of the removal of subsidy, which is supposed to be implemented by June. Interestingly, though, as some persons have pointed out, state workers don't seem to be covered by the federal government's plans. Well, definitely, I suppose, not local government workers, and most definitely not workers in the private sector. Well, and I suppose the question might arise, what happens to them? I mean, yes, we can have a dispute or conversation as to whether or not this federal government addition or the addition to federal workers is actually a 40% increase in salary or not, or just as a labor leader put it, a meager, additional allowance. That conversation can be had, pardon me. However, whatever it is, whether it's a 40% salary increase or simply a meager additional allowance, what happens to other workers? What happens to other Nigerians? How are they supposed to deal with this situation? Hello, you're welcome.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hi, go ahead. You got 30 seconds.
Yes, my name is Progress, the radio counselor. Let me begin with a statement and then ask a few questions and then make my contribution. First, he who fetched the firewood field of ants should expect a lot of birds or fowl in his house. That is the statement. That is the statement. The questions, Dio. The refinery that are now worked on, are they now producing?
That's the much that I can take from you. However, because I do have a commercial break coming up right now, we've got headlines at 5:30 p.m. Discussions continue after that. Please stay with us.
You are tuned
Originally from the number one talk station, I'm Dio. Let's talk. 27 to go before 6 p.m. The major unit is up at 6. Open season after that. However, for the moment, discussions continue. And fuel subsidy, FG begins 40% pay rise for workers April ending. Barring any last-minute change of plans, the federal government will begin payment of the planned increase in civil servants' pay by the end of the month, April. The president is expected to give his final assent for disbursement any moment now. Officials of the federal government have indicated the fresh pay rise or pay increase tagged consequential allowance would lead to a 40% rise in the current pay of government workers. And Director of Press and Public Relations, Ministry of Labour and Employment, Olajide Oshundun, revealed the federal government might begin payment of the 40% pay rise by the end of April this year, adding that the 3-month arrears of January, February and March will be paid at a later date. And this is supposed to cover civil servants from level 1 to level 17. However, leaders of organised labour on Monday described the proposed pay rise as a meagre allowance that would not be equivalent to a 40% increase in workers' salaries. National Vice President of the Trade Union Congress, Tommy Etim, confirmed the moves by the government to increase, quote, allowances and not salaries, as publicly insinuated. According to him, the allowance is an increase arising from the peculiar circumstances surrounding the removal of the fuel subsidy and inflation. He, however, stressed that civil servants were yet to receive the payment. Let's get your take on this development. To what extent would this help workers, or Nigerians in general, deal with the impact of the removal of fuel subsidy? How far would this go in helping workers deal with the expected rise in prices of goods and services once fuel subsidy is removed? And what impact would it have on other Nigerians, by the way? Call 070-0923-0923. Hello, you're welcome.
Dayo, I was here before you went on the break.
Oh, okay. All right. I believe I did get the take of that caller. If you were here before the break, I'd rather hear from persons who have not been here at all, even before the break. So I'd rather hear from persons who haven't had a say at all. Let's get your take, 070-0923-0923. Also join me via facebook.com/Nigeria Info PH. Via Twitter as well, at Nigeria Info PH. That none of the government-owned refineries will ever work until all these current politicians have been retired. I will text you next 4 years to remind you. Okay. There are a lot of assumptions in that message. So very many assumptions. But we'll see how it goes. If they increase the salaries of federal government workers, what happens to the state civil servants? What happens to local government workers and the private sector? Why choose to increase salaries for incoming government to come and pay? I want to say that this is an avenue for last-minute loot. So that's from Prince. So Prince, should the salaries not be increased at all? Good evening, Dial. Please, is subsidy not a product of importation of fuel? If refineries are being worked on and we will start producing locally, shouldn't subsidy be of no effect? Well, you do have a point. Subsidy primarily is the result of the importation of fuel, but then again, I mean, some calculations, I suppose, may still have to be done as to how much, even when we locally refine, as to how much it would cost, basically. By the time the production or local refining is done here, all the costs incurred, and then whatever profit margins they expected to be at the end of the day, is it going to be the same as it is now? Very likely not. Is it going to be higher? As it's been speculated that it is going to be higher. So, well, higher than what the official rate is now. That is, I mean, forget the fact that I don't think anyone buys petrol at the official pump price at the moment, though. However, yes, we need salary increase, but not in this present scenario where the price of goods and services is beyond our take-home. NLC and all affiliate organizations should deny the salary increment for now, but push to ensure building strong institutions who were eating well in the early 90s when we were paid less than 300 naira. And also a cliff. The minister said the timeline has changed. How many times will they change the timeline, if I may ask? Initially, they said November 2022 that the refineries will start working. Later, they said March 2023. And now they have changed the timeline again. The government is just inconsistent. We cannot take them serious on this refinery issue again. Because since 2015, we have been promising to put the refineries to function, and this government just has a month and a few days to vacate. The thoughts are still welcome now. Once again, lines are open. Call 0817 923 0002, 0817 923 0003. I've got a commercial break coming up shortly. Top of the hour at 6 p.m. We've got the major news, a review of all the matters discussed on the show today. Comes up after that during the open season segment till about 7 o'clock, where the hard facts comes to an end for today. The sports gang are in by 7 for extra time. But any thoughts on this planned increase of workers' salaries by the federal government is welcomed right now. I can take a few more contributions before going for the inevitable commercial break coming up shortly. Contribute at this going for a break right now. Got a commercial break as so that's every matter discussed on today's edition of the show thus far will be up for review once again after that, especially if you haven't had it said today. Let's get your take during that time. Deeply stay with us. Hard Facts returns shortly.
On your number one talk station,
You get a daily dose of news.